We've got some breaking news here on CBS Sports HQ where the LIV Golf roster continues to add big names. The latest, Bryson DeChambeau. Rick Gehman confirming that Bryson has told his sponsor he intends to join the Upstart Tour in time for the event in Portland at the end of the month. Not one, but multiple sponsors, and the multiple reports out there indicate that also former Masters champion Patrick Reed would join him as well. All right, so let's bring in Rick Gehman here to tell us the very latest. Rick, what more can you tell us about Bryson DeChambeau, of course, potentially leaving there for the LIV Golf Series?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a situation that's kind of been brewing for a couple of weeks and more, increased in the last couple of days. And the Telegraph reporting that not only Bryson DeChambeau, but Patrick Reed headed to LIV Golf. And I was also able to confirm that over the past 48 hours or so, Bryson's team has been reaching out to his many sponsors and letting them know his intention to go and play on the LIV Golf Tour, give them a heads up to let them decide what they are going to be doing. And Tommy, I'll kind of, warn everyone, and just what we've seen from Bryson's comments 5 or 6 days ago, he's quite fickle in these situations. He kind of flip-flops often, but the latest is that Bryson is going to accept an offer from the Saudi-backed LIV Golf League, and he is likely to tee it up in the event in Portland after competing at the U.S. Open next week.
This is all happening hot and heavy. It's sort of golf's version of free agency with NBA and NFL, though maybe intended on one side and maybe unattended in terms of the world of golf. But look, when Phil Mickelson was at the forefront of this and some of the ancillary players like Louis Oosthuizen and Sergio Garcia, that's fine. Then an impactful player like Dustin Johnson comes into the fold. Where would Bryson DeChambeau fit in that for you?
Yeah, this is kind of new for us in the world of golf. We don't usually get this kind of drama and this kind of news. But Bryson, if we would have gone back 12 months ago, Bryson certainly would have been on the short list of golfers that would have gone to this league. He talked about how intriguing it was 8 or 10 months ago. And we know that Bryson has always been someone to try new things, whether it's what he wears on the golf course, the type of equipment that he uses, the training practices that he puts his body through. He is not the mold. He breaks the mold when it comes to things that are golf related. As far as eyeballs go, he is one of the most polarizing golfers that we have in the game today. You either love him or you hate him. He is very popular. It is generally good for ratings when Bryson is involved. And I think that's kind of the big deal for what LIV Golf is trying to build. They're not necessarily trying to build a stable of the best golfers in the world. They're trying to create a stable of golfers that people care about. And if that's what they're trying to do, Bryson DeChambeau is absolutely on the short list of the 4 or 5 golfers that we have in the game that people care about, even if they're not always rooting for him.
So let me follow up on that, because the topic of conversation, of course, are these golfers and now the Saudi-backed LIV Tour. And it really comes down to 2 things, right, Rick? It comes down to money and morals, and Twitter's not always the best place to crowdsource that. But where are we at in terms of that conversation and the debate to be had on that front?
It's a great point, Tommy, because if you're on golf Twitter, this has been kind of a big deal and a moral conversation for months. But I think just in the last 24 or 48 hours, this has kind of gotten out to the larger just golf casual fan universe. People that I know just watch golf on weekends are texting me, hey, what is this league that these people are talking about? We've been consumed by this for 18 months, but it's finally getting out to the mainstream casual golf fan. And that's because guys like Phil Mickelson, guys like Bryson DeChambeau, guys like Dustin Johnson, they are kind of able to break through that noise. So for the players, they've done a couple of press conferences and group press conferences over the course of the past few days, and they've done a very good job of staying on brand and saying that we are trying to grow the game. We understand that this is a league being backed by the financial arm of the Saudi Arabian government, and there are obviously human rights concerns when it comes to Saudi Arabia. And now we've got an issue where the players, if they can get past the massive hurdle of morality, they are being rewarded greatly with a ton of money that they could have only imagined a few months ago. Literally the amounts that guys have earned in their entire careers being handed to them in one day with guaranteed purses and only 54 holes. So that one hurdle, there's only one of them, the moral side of it, but Tommy, it's a significant one.
One more before I let you go. Appreciate you joining us here. So again, this was started conceptually, then you talk about it, then you put the roster together. Now the first event is here. They're going to play the long game, LIV Golf, but in the short term, Rick, what are you looking out for this week? And the biggest question mark for you would be what?
Yeah, so the biggest question mark for me is what the PGA Tour does. They have been very silent and quiet during this entire last few days as they're seeing some of their larger stars getting picked off here for LIV Golf. And that's strategic. We are under the impression that they are not going to say a word until the first tee shot is hit on Friday morning, and these guys actually do play in a different league that they have not approved. And then I imagine the story Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, if the PGA Tour does what we expect them to do, is going to be based around the punishments and based around what repercussions these players might be facing. Now, the players who are already playing in London and who intend to play in Portland, they might not care about that, Tommy. They're not going to care about what the punishments are, but the PGA Tour needs to come out, say something, do something before there is kind of a mass exodus to this LIV Golf League.
All right, and we've heard, of course, from the USGA already. They put out their statement, and we fleshed that out yesterday. Our thanks to Rick Gehman. They're delivering the news with the very latest on LIV Golf and the additions of Bryson DeChambeau and Patrick Reed. Certainly appreciate it, Rick, as always, as we take a look at the calendar schedule here for LIV Golf and its Invitational Series getting underway just outside of London this weekend. Again, so you already have Dustin Johnson, Phil Mickelson, and like there. When we talk about Bryson DeChambeau and Patrick Reed, all eyes will then be on July 1st to the 3rd out in Portland. That would be the next available opportunity for these guys to be seen and seen here in North America. First Cut podcast, in which Rick Gehman is the host, Kyle Porter, Mark Immelman, Greg Ducharme, and Jonathan Coachman. I'm sure these guys will get, if not an emergency pod fired up, certainly something ready and a much longer breakdown. Of course, we did a few minutes here, but the guys do a fantastic job, especially with this topic, going in depth on what you need, and of course DFS and betting advice for the normal tournaments like the RBC Canadian Open.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.